Hello, my name is Matthew Pfeiffer with mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Welcome to my YouTube channel. On this channel, I create videos about toxic, narcissistically abusive relationships, self-development, and emotional intelligence. And if you have a question that you'd like for me to answer, make sure you send it to justaskmatt at mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Again, that is justaskmatt at mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Make sure you keep the email 2 to 3 paragraphs max. Also very direct and to the point of what your question actually is. If it's too long, if it's too lengthy, unfortunately, I will not be able to get to it. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe notification and the bell notification so you're notified each and every time I upload a new video. I upload new videos on this channel 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. With all that being said, let's get into today's email. So today's email comes from a person who was wondering if they should share the abuse that they endured while they were with their narcissistic partner. This is a very common question. The difference here that compared to some of the other questions I have that are very similar is that we're now talking about adult children. So let's get into this email and let's see if we can help this writer out, and let's see if we can help out some other people as well. So this email reads, "Hey Matt, I have adult kids and they have no idea the reason why we split 20 years ago. Their father, long story short, he sexually assaulted me during the marriage and then sexually assaulted me 4 years post-divorce. No charges made due to the lack of evidence on the sexual assault. And during the marriage, I didn't know." That's very common for a lot of people. They just don't know that they were sexually assaulted because there's a misconception that sexual assault can't happen when you're married, and that's not true whatsoever. Plus, friends advised not to because it would destroy my kid's future. So one of the things I tell people in situations like this, we never want to cover the sins of the narcissist. And I'm going to show you the reasons why here in a second. A lot of times people will protect the narcissist thinking that it's protecting the children when actually all we're doing is enabling bad behavior, right? So let's put a bookmark there and then we'll circle back to that here in a second. Fast forward to now, their father has been close to being inappropriate with one of our son's girlfriends, right? So now we're starting to see the behavior is starting to recycle itself, right? Because we have to remember that narcissists don't change. So the father that we protected back then, and I'm not getting on this person, right? But this is where we need to learn and gain some wisdom from this, right? Fast forward, their father has now been inappropriate with their son's girlfriend. Now, back then, right, for those of you who may be going through this situation right now, right, we don't protect this person because guess what? It could recycle to your kids later on down the road, right? So let's continue. And this was brought to my attention by my son and his girlfriend, right? Am I the asshole if I spill the beans? My kids are extremely protective of me. I'm afraid of retaliation. The kids retaliating against their father, but also I want to protect said girlfriend. I'm so torn on what is right. So one of the things I tell people, I tell this to people when your kids are young, and I'm going to say this to you right now. What happened to you, it is completely up to you on whether or not you are on your story, right? If they were young, I wouldn't necessarily tell them, right? But they're adults. This is your story to do whatever it is that you would like to do with it. Now, with that being said, you can protect your kids and protect the girlfriend without telling them your story. What needs to happen here, regardless if you tell them your story or not, is that you need to validate their experience with the father. You need to tell them things like, I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. You need to protect yourself. He's well capable of this. You can still validate them without even going into the details of your story, right? So that's the very, very least. So again, it's up to you on if you want to share your story. However, one of the things I would 100% do is validate their feelings and validate their experience and validate what they've gone through. And if they're considering pressing charges, if they're considering cutting their dad off and not talking to him and going no contact with him, we can validate those feelings. Yeah, I don't blame you. I understand. He's well capable of doing these things. And we make the story really, because this really isn't about you anymore. This is really actually about them, right? So 100% up to you, but this is the way that you don't have to bring your story up. You don't have to fear the retaliation, right? If they retaliate because and they decide to cut this person off because of their own experience, right? That's completely up to them, right? But let's piggyback this back to when they were young, right? For those of you who might be experiencing this right now, right, with your kids, we always want to validate our children's experience. And let's say that this person did press charges, and this whole narrative of let's protect the narcissist, it's going to destroy the kid's future. Well, guess what? Again, that same behavior has impacted their children as an adult. So guess what happened? Not doing anything actually is what impacted their future, right? So this is the reason why you hear me saying so often, we don't want to cover the sins of the narcissist. If we're presented with opportunity for restraining orders and that sort of thing, the reality of it is, regardless if we want our children to figure out who the narcissist is or not, regardless if we pretend like these things are happening, the children are going to figure it out one way or another, because they're going to experience it at some point in time, either in a story like this, or they're going to experience it firsthand by the narcissist mistreating them. So instead of us trying to protect the children by protecting the narcissist, we protect ourselves and we do what's necessary to protect ourselves from the narcissist and allow for the children to see the truth, right, of who this person actually is. So thank you very much for writing in. My name is Matthew Pfeiffer. If you have a question for me, make sure you send it to justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Again, that is justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Keep the email 2 to 3 paragraphs max. Be very direct and to the point of what your question actually is. If it's too long, if it's too lengthy, unfortunately, I will not be able to get to it. With all that being said, thank you very much. I will see you in the next video. Have a good one.